Aziz milletim, değerli
My great
milletvekili
nation,
arkadaşlarım,
distinguished
sevgili gençler,
deputy friends, dear young
hanımefendiler,
people,
beyefendiler,
ladies and
sizlere
gentlemen,
kalbi duygularımla,
I
hasretle,
cordially
muhabbetle
greet you
selamlıyorum.
with longing and love.
Özellikle hazırlanan bu sürpriz
And I would like to
gerçekten
thank
çok kısa da
for that
olsa benim
surprise,
için çok duyguluydu.
even though it
Ve
was a short.
çocukluk yıllarıma beni götürmesi, bunun
One, it
yanında da
made me
tercih
feel
edilen
emotional. It took me
oradaki
back to my
birkaç
childhood
anekdot
years
gerçekten
and some
çok önemli.
stories shown in that short video
İşte bu simitti, bu
were very
kitaptı,
important for me.
bu suydu.
It was either
Bunların üçü çocukluk yıllarımın
a book
en
or
önemli
a cup of water
başlıklarıydı.
or a Turkish bagel. These were the
Sınıfımdaki
most
bir
important
arkadaşın
things during
kitap
my
evleri vardı.
childhood years. A classmate of
oradan
mine,
Elde
their
ettiğim bu
family had
imkanlarla
a bookstore,
ilk
and
ufak da
this
olsa
way
kütüphaneme
I
aldığım eser Ömer Nasuhi Bilmen Efendi'nin
bought Ömer
Hukuki
Nasuhi
İslamiye
Bilmen's
kamusuydu.
Hukuki İslamiye, a book. This was the first book I added into the
Ve
shelf, onto the
taksitlerini
shelves of my
simit
library.
satarak
And I
ödemiştim.
paid the
Su
installments
satarak
by way of
ödemiştim.
selling Turkish bagels, by way of
o
selling
günden bugüne de
water on the streets.
hamdolsun bu
And from
şekilde
that day
yürüyerek geldik.
to our current day,
Arkadaşlarım
this is how
bunları
I
gerçekten
marched
güzel tespit
on my
etmiş,
path. So my
yakalamış
colleagues
ve
did a
anneciğimin
good job
de
at telling all
evdeki
these.
makinesinde
And my dear
özellikle
mother
komşulara diktiği elbiselerle
also
her hafta sonu yatılı okumam
tailored
hasebiyle
some
bana
dresses
vermiş olduğu
for
3-5
neighbors.
kuruşla haftayı
and through
doldurur giderirdim.
the money that she made,
Böyle başlayan bir hayat
she
ve
would
şimdi
give
de
me a pocket
Cumhurbaşkanlığı
money, and this
Külliyesi'ndeki
is how I
bu muhteşem
was
dev
living.
kütüphane ile
And from
işte
that
tırmandığımız nokta.
library, small bookstore, we have come to the presidency's
Şüphesiz ki
library,
kitap bizim için
our
en
national
önemli
great
yol
library.
arkadaşı.
And this is the
Unutmayalım
biggest
ki
indicator
her
of our
kitap
success, and we should not
alimdir.
forget that
Onun için
books
kitap
are our guides,
saygıdeğerdir.
and every book
Onun için
is
kitap
wise,
bizim
and that is why
medeniyetimizde
each and
büyük
every
önemi
book
haizdir.
is well respected, and
Bu
in our
bakımdan
civilization,
hazırlanan
books are
bu
of great
kısa da
importance. And
olsa
using this opportunity, I would
takdimle
like to thank
sizlere
for
emeği geçenlere
that short
çok teşekkür
video
ediyorum.
prepared. I would like to thank to everyone who
Grup toplantımızın
help,
ülkemiz ve
prepare it.
partimiz için hayırlara vesile olmasını
And I
Rabbimden
pray
niyaz
that
ediyorum.
our group meeting will
Sözlerimin
be
hemen
auspicious
başında
for our country
tüm
and
İslam
our party.
aleminin ve
At the beginning of my
milletimizin
words, I
dün başlayan mübarek
wish
3 ayları ile yarın
a
gece
holy
idrak
night
edeceğimiz
of Regaib,
Regaib,
which we will
Regaib'ini
enjoy
şimdiden
tomorrow, and
tebrik
wish
ediyorum.
for all the Islam
Bu
world and
mübarek
our nation
ayların
a blessed
ve önümüzdeki
holy
günlerde
3-month
ardı ardına idrak
period,
edeceğimiz
which
mübarek
started
gecelerin
only yesterday.
Müslümanlara
And I hope
ve
that
tüm
these
milletimize
holy nights and
hayırlar
months
getirmesini
will
Rabbimden
bring
niyaz
about
ediyorum. İslam dünyasının her
goodness
köşesinden
to the Muslim world and
feryatların
to our
yükseldiği,
entire nation.
zalimlerin her
We
geçen
are
gün daha da
indeed going
azgınlaştığı,
through a period
zulmün
in
adeta
which
arşa
outcries
çıktığı
rise from
bir
every
süreçten
corner of the
geçiyoruz.
Islam world. The oppressors
İlk
become
kıblemiz
more and more
Kudüs'ün
raging
mahremiyetine
day by
yönelik
day, and the
pervasız
persecution
saldırılar
has almost
giderek
reached to its
artıyor.
zenith, if you will.
İşte böyle bir
And the
dönemde
reckless attacks on the privacy of our first
idrak
Qibla,
ettiğimiz
Jerusalem,
mübarek ayların ve
are
gecelerin hatırına
growing in number. During such
birliğimizi,
times, I pray that
beraberliğimizi,
pray to God
kardeşliğimizi
that we will
gücümüzü
have
artırmasını diliyorum.
more unity, togetherness,
Merhamet,
brotherhood, and
sevgi,
fighting power
kardeşlik,
for
dayanışma
the
iklimi
sake
olan
of
bu
these
mübarek
holy
ayların ve
months and
gecelerin
nights
ne
we will
kadar
experience.
hakkını vererek yaşarsak,
And the more
önümüzdeki
we
meselelerin üstesinden
enjoy
kolayca
these
gelecek gücü
months
de
and
o
nights,
derece
the more
kendimizde bulabiliriz. Şayet
easily we will
çevremizde
find
tek
the
bir
power
garip,
to overcome the issues
tek bir
ahead of
ihtiyaç
us.
sahibi,
Because if
tek bir
there's
imkansızlıktan dolayı gözü
even
yaşlı,
one
kalbi kırık
needy,
insan varsa,
one
ne bu mübarek
heartbroken,
ayları
one
ne de bu
tearful
mübarek
person,
geceleri hakkıyla değerlendirebilmiş
then it means
olamayız.
that we do not properly
Müslüman olmak
feel
sadece namaz
those
kılmaktan,
holy
oruç
months
tutmaktan,
and
hacca
nights.
ve umreye
Being a
gitmekten
Muslim
ibaret
is not
olsaydı,
only of
nefse
praying,
ve
fasting,
küfre karşı verilen
going to
onca mücadeleye
pilgrimage
gerek
and
kalmazdı.
Umrah, because
İnancımızın asıl
otherwise
ölçüsü,
we would have
Rabbimizin
not
bize
needed
gösterdiği
all the
şekilde
struggles.
iyiliği emredip
The true
kötülüğü nehyetme düsturunu ne
measure of
derece
our
hayata
belief is
geçirebildiğimizdir.
our ability to
Gelmiş
realize
geçmiş
the
tüm
principle
peygamberlerin görevi
of asking
insanlığa
for the good,
işte bu temel
and
ilkeyi vazetmek
this
olmuştur.
has been the
Bize
duty
düşen de
of
aynı
the
yolda ilerlemektir.
prophets who
Rabbim
came
hepimize
into this world
inancımızın
on the
özünün farkında
basics of
olmayı
these
ve
principles.
buna uygun
And
şekilde
our job,
yaşamayı
our task is
nasip
to
etsin
go
diyorum.
through the same path. And
Değerli
I
kardeşlerim,
ask from God that
malum
we also will have the
deprem
chance to
felaketi
live
kendini
in
bize sürekli hatırlatıyor.
our faith
Son olarak
according to
Van'da
that.
can kaybıyla
Dear
sonuçlanan
friends,
bir
earthquake,
deprem daha
of
yaşadık.
course, disasters
Van'da meydana gelen
constantly
depremde
remind us
hayatını
one fact.
kaybeden
And
vatandaşlarımıza
we
bir kez
experienced
daha
an
Allah'tan
earthquake
rahmet,
in Van
yaralılara
province of Turkey,
şifalar
which
diliyorum.
resulted in loss of
Bilim
loss of
insanları
life. And
yeni
I
depremler
pray
beklendiğinin
for God's
haberlerini
mercy
veriyor.
on those who
Son bir
lost their
asırda
lives in the earthquake,
ülkemizde
and also
6
a
ve
quick
daha üzeri
recovery
büyüklüğe
to the
sahip
injured. And the
57 deprem
scientists
yaşadığımızı
report that new
ve 80
earthquakes
bin
are
vatandaşımızı
expected.
yıkıntılar
And we
altında
know that
kaybettiğimizi düşündüğümüzde
we
bu
lost
ikazlara hak vermemek
80
mümkün değildir.
thousand
Ülkemizin
citizens under
mevcut
the
yapı stokunun
ruins, and
bilhassa da bizim
we
dönemimizden
experienced
önce
57
yapılanların
earthquakes
önemli bir bölümü
with a
depreme
magnitude of
ve diğer
6 and
tabii
above
afetlere
in the last
dayanıksızdır.
century, and that is
Öyle
why
ki
it is
birçok
impossible
şehrimizin
not to
neredeyse tamamına
make
yakınını yıkıp
warnings, so
yeniden
much so that
adeta
some of
yapmak
our
gerekiyor.
cities need to be
Türkiye
demolished
gibi
and
83 milyon
reconstructed.
nüfusa 10 milyon
And
binada
we
30
have
milyon
83
bağımsız
million people
birime
living in
sahip
our
bir
country,
ülkede
and to
böylesine
accomplish such
köklü bir
a radical
dönüşümü gerçekleştirmenin
transformation
kolay
in our
olmadığı da
country,
ortadadır.
it is not going to
Yapılan
be, of course,
değerlendirmelere göre
easy.
ilk etapta
According to the
dönüştürülmesi
evaluations,
gereken
the
konut
number
sayısı
of the
6
houses,
milyon
buildings
700
to
bin.
be transformed, to be
Başka
gentrified,
hiçbir şey yapmayın.
is
Tüm yatırımları
6.7
durdurun.
million.
Tüm maaş
If
ve
we do
destek
not do
ödemelerini
anything
kesip
else, stop all
kamu
the
kaynaklarının
investments,
hepsini
cut
bu
off
işe
all
aktarsak
salaries
bile
and
bu
other
dönüşüm
source of payments,
yıllarca
such
sürer.
a transformation,
millet
urban
olarak
transformation,
el ele vererek
would
en
take
riskli olan
years.
yapılardan başlayıp
That is why
süreci
we
adım
should
adım
start with the
yürütmek
most risky
mecburiyetindeyiz.
structures and
Öncelikle
go step
durumlara
by step
aciliyet arz
and
eden
stand
binaların yıkılıp
in
yeniden yapılması
solidarity.
için
First of
bir
all,
seferberlik
we
başlattık.
have initiated our
Hedefimiz her
mobilization
yıl
to first
300
demolish
bin yeni
the
konut
buildings
inşa ederek
that are in urgent
önümüzdeki 5 yılda
positions. Our
1
goal is
milyon
to build
500 bin konutu
300,000 new houses
TOKİ
every
vasıtasıyla
year, and
bugüne
also
kadar
transform
tamamladığımız ve inşa
1.5
halindeki
million in the
863
next
bin
5
konut
years,
bu
and
bakımdan önemli bir örnektir.
863,000
Aynı
dwelling
şekilde
houses,
bizim
residences that
dönemimizde
we have
kamu faaliyetleri
constructed
için
up
inşa
to
edilen
now,
hizmet
and
binaları,
are under
okullar,
construction,
salonları,
are the biggest
yurtlar,
examples
hastaneler,
to give in this
camiler
respect.
ve diğer
So,
birimlerde
our
depreme
term in office, the buildings, schools, gyms, dormitories, hospitals, mosques, or other buildings built are have been constructed resistant to earthquakes. And since 2012, we have started the urban transformation studies. We included 1.3 million thousand houses in the scope, and in order to prevent our citizens from being victimized, we have utilized 7 billion liras as aid, grants, supports, and after the Marmara earthquake, we completed almost 43,000 construction projects, and after Van, Kütahya, Bingöl, Dinar earthquakes, we built 38,000 residences with infrastructure and delivered it to our citizens, and some of the 65,000 residence transformation project that we has started last year has now been almost completed. And Kanal Istanbul, among other things, is an urban transformation project of 500,000 residences. And after Elazığ and Malatya earthquake, the debris removal, evacuation, research and rescue activities, and the demolition of heavily damaged buildings, the assessment of heavily damaged buildings, all these activities were completed in 12 days, and 263 buildings in Elazığ and 7,600 were identified, and that there are a total of 19,000 units in these buildings. And as a result, it has been brought to our attention that in Elazığ we have to build some 19,000 houses in Elazığ and 4,000 in Malatya. And so far we have made plans for the construction of 960 residences in Elazığ province and 678 residences, dwelling houses in Malatya. In Elazığ, TOKİ had built 400 dwelling houses, and our citizens started to move to those houses. And our work in terms of the construction of other residences is still ongoing at full speed, and our goal is to complete all these some 23,000 houses in a year and deliver them to our citizens. So these projects are planned and carried out to offer living spaces that have schools, mosques, parks, public gardens, roads, shopping centers, and of course residences. And we support our citizens up to 27,000 liras per dwelling house, and we will provide 11,000 liras to the owners of the apartments that are heavily damaged, and also 5,000 liras to the tenants, and 5,000 liras for the apartments that are damaged mildly. The state authorities will, of course, be standing with the citizens. However, the state and the citizens must carry out the preparations about earthquake together. We expect our citizens to immediately determine the risk level of the structures they own and to notify us accordingly, so that we can transform those into resistant buildings. And the earthquake now has affected a lot of people, and our aim to increase the number
ülkemizi depreme hazır hale
to
getireceğiz.
35 million in a short period of time,
Malatya
and
depreminin
to
ardından
extend it
AK Parti
to
meclis
the
grubu
entire
olarak başlattığımız
nation.
yardım
And
kampanyasında
hopefully
yaklaşık
we
1 milyon
will
600 bin
overcome
lira
this problem.
toplandı.
And now for the Elazığ-Malatya earthquake aid campaign, we have approximately collected 1.6 million Turkish liras, and this was started by AK Party Assembly Group, and our group administration will transfer this money to the account of AFAD. And I would like to thank to our MPs and all the members of our organization who participated to that aid campaign. Dear friends, Turkey, of course, has many issues, but the CHP mentality and the delusions of the person who chairs the party continue to be our most important issue. We are doing our best not to take the words of this person into account seriously. However, we feel compelled to express some facts in order to prevent further lies and slander. To be honest, we now see a sick mindset. They first talk about judiciary and justice and respect, but then they make all sorts of insults to the judiciary, to judges, to prosecutors and justice institutions, and I don't know how to express such a mindset. In this country, we do not have a slavery, but there is one person who sold his mind voluntarily to the imperialists as a slave, and his name is Mr. Kemal.
27 Mayıs ve 12 Eylül darbe yargısını bile yüceltecek kadar
This
alçalabilen
person
bir kişi
can sink low enough to even glorify the coup attempts, coups of May 27 and September 12. And it means that this person can take it to even any extent. This person is the one who supported the terrorist organizations from FETÖ to PKK, and who stood behind those terrorists while calling them friends. While Turkey is going through one of the most critical challenges of its history, we see a person who is constantly defaming the state and the nation and attacking all people, all public officials, and it means that he is not serving for the country, but the enemy. Throughout his life, this person did not have a single kindness for has not made any single good to the country, to the nation, and this person can only satisfy himself by making an uproar. And a person who does not have a single idea, who has not grasped the Syrian issue, is not worth much, and it is only maybe as worthy as the buzz of a fly. And
rejimin yanında yer alan kahraman askerlerimizin mücadelesine hakaret eden, şehitlerimize saygısızlık yapan, gazilerimizi rencide eden bir kişi asla bu milletin evladı
the struggle of our hero soldiers, disrespecting our martyrs and hurting our veterans can never be the son of this nation. First, you need to have a conscience. This is an important voice, inner voice. These children in Idlib.
3-5 yaşında,
Don't
7 yaşındaki o
you
yavruların
watch them on TV?
ayakları çırılçıplak,
Those children
o çamur
at the
deryalarının
ages of
içerisinde
3, 5
nasıl sığınacak yer
are
aradıklarını
walking
görmüyor musun ya?
barefoot
Bazen
in the mud,
söylüyoruz ya,
in the
ki
cold,
bir ayettir.
and look for a
Gözleri var,
place
görmez.
to hide,
Kulakları
to
var,
shelter.
duymaz.
In
Dili
the
var,
verse it says,
hakkı
one
konuşamaz.
has ears but
Böyle
does
işte,
not
tam
hear,
kendisi.
and one has
Tam
might
kendisi.
have eyes but not see,
Ve
a tongue
o
might have a tongue
yavruların
but might
ahı
not
sana
speak.
yeter ya.
So this person is exactly him, and
O anneler, o babalar,
these
çamur
mothers,
deryaları
these
içerisinde
children,
başlarını
those
sokacakları bir
fathers
çadır dahi
are
bulamıyor.
looking for a tent to take
Bunları
shelter
bu
in all
katil
that mud
Esed'in
and cold weather.
insafına mı
And
bırakacağız?
are we going to leave
Bana
them
yaptığı
to
teklife
the
bak ya.
mercy of this
Git Esed'le
murderer
görüş.
Assad?
Ya sen
Can
daha
you,
Esed'i görmediğin
uh,
zaman ben onunla
Think
görüşüyordum
about
zaten.
the offer he makes. He
Görüşüyordum.
wants me to go
Ama
and
biz ona
talk to
hangi
Assad.
teklifi yaparsak
We
yapalım ama
in the past did,
adam olmadığını gördük.
but we saw that no matter what we
Bunda
offer,
insaf diye bir şey yok.
he would not
Bugün
come to his
bizim
senses. He
karşımıza
has
dikilen
no mercy.
benim Kürt orijinli kardeşlerim
And my brothers and
Suriye'nin
sisters with
kuzeyinde,
Kurdish
kuzeydoğusunda
origins in the
şu anda terör
north of
örgütüne destek
Syria
verenler,
and northeast
onlara
of Syria
pasaport dahi vermiyordu.
were not
Ben de kendisine tavsiyede bulundum.
able
Ya bunlar
to
senin vatandaşın niye vermiyor?
have even
vermedi.
passports. They were not issuing passports for those
Bay Kemal
Kurdish
şimdi kalkıyor bize bu
citizens,
noktada
and
hakem
I used to
kesiyor.
ask him why.
Ya sen
And now
siyaseti
Mr. Kemal
bilmiyorsun, sen
is
siyasetin
now
cahilisin ya.
making judgments, passing around
Siyasetin cahilisin.
judgments, but you do not know
Nerede,
much
ne
about
oluyor, haberi yok.
politics. You are ignorant in
Bunları tanımıyorsun.
politics. You do not know
Bunlar
what happens
civiliyet
and
fukarası.
where things
Bunlar
happen.
hiçbir
You do
zaman
not know
kalkıp da
these people. They
kendi
are poor
vatandaşına
in
dahi
dignity,
insanca muamele
and these
edebilecek
people
durumda değiller.
have
Ve
never
bunu
been
yapmadılar.
in a condition to serve for their own
Şimdi
citizens, and they have not
ülkemdeki
served
benim
so.
Kürt
And
vatandaşlarım
now we have many, of
Bunlara
course,
ben bunu
Kurdish
çok
citizens of our country.
Onlar da
I
Suriye'nin
explained it to them
kuzeyinde,
many
kuzeydoğusundaki
times.
Kürt
And our
vatandaşlarımla ilgili bu
Syrian
durumları
Kurdish
biliyorlar,
citizens living in
biliyorlar.
the north of
bildikleri
Syria and
halde
the northeast of Syria
buradaki Erdoğan
didn't
düşmanlığı
they
ne yazık
know
ki tavan
all of
yapmıştır.
them what Assad did,
Ve
but still some still
örgütlerine
have
maalesef
hostility
destek vermeye
for
devam
Erdoğan.
ediyor.
And unfortunately, some of them continue
Ve
to support the
Türkiye'nin
terrorist
ana muhalefetin
organizations.
başındaki zat
And the
kalkıp
person
bize
chairing the main opposition
Esed'le
party in
görüşmeyi
Turkey
tavsiye ediyor.
now suggests
Sen
that
görüşüyorsun
we
zaten, yeter.
talk to Assad. It's enough already that you are talking to him.
Adamlarını gönderiyorsun. Onlar
You are
görüşüyorlar
sending your
zaten,
guys,
yeter.
and they are
Ama bizim
negotiating
adımıza
with
değil.
him, and it's
Kendi
enough.
adına.
But he is not doing it
Ve
on our behalf. He
şu
is
anda
only doing it on his own behalf.
APO'nun
And
ortaklarıyla
now,
da zaten
with the partners of Öcalan, APO, they
yürüyüşleri beraber yaptık.
now have
Ankara'dan İstanbul'a
partners.
beraber yürüdük.
They walked from Ankara to Istanbul together.
Ve
They organized
bununla kalmadılar.
marches
Avrupa
together,
Parlamentosunda
and they did
yine
not even get enough of
beraber
that,
dirsek dirseğe
but went to the European
oturdular.
Parliament
Oradan
and
da yine
sat
ülkemize
next
saldırdılar.
to one another, and they attacked our
Yani
country,
bunlarda
even from the European
bu
Parliament.
ülkenin
So
menfaatlerini, çıkarlarını
these
savunmak diye
people
bir şey
do
yok.
not have any concern to
Kalkıp da
defend and
AK
stand for
Parti
the interests
Avrupa
of our
Parlamentosu'nda
country. Going to the European
Türkiye
Parliament
düşmanlarına
and
şikayet etmek
making
kadar
complaints
alçak
about
olabilir mi?
AK Party before the enemies of Turkey.
İşte
What else
millilik,
can be lower than that?
yerlilik derken
When
savunduğumuz
we talk
ama
about
gayrimillilik,
national and
gayriyerlilik derken
local
işte temsilcisi oluyoruz.
initiatives, what we mean
Gelelim
is that,
Libya'da ülkemizin ne yapmaya çalıştığını anlamamış bir
and
kişinin
of
bu
course,
konuda söyledikleri
this what they do
deryada
is like the
damla
local version of
hükmünde dahi
treason. And what these people say about
Ne diyor
Libya
bize?
is not
Libya'da ne işimiz
a
var?
drop of
Yani CHP'nin
is not
kurucusu
worth as much as a drop in the ocean. Their words. And the founder of CHP, of course, was veteran Mustafa Kemal. Then these all show that you do not know even him. Why was he in Tripoli? Why was he in Libya? We have in history. We do not deny our history. We own up to our history, and we are a political party that marches into the future by taking the ownership of our past, our history. And today in Libya there are Turkish groups. But if you ask Mr. Kemal, he would not know about them. And this person would not even know what happened in CHP's history in the past recent 15 years. In international relations, friendship and hostility are the concepts related to the interests of our country and nation.
Kağıttan model yapmak, savunma ve muharebe sistemleri geliştirmeyi, beş taş oynamak sanan birisine elbette ne desek
of course it will be to no avail to say anything to anyone who thinks producing tanks is equal to producing cans or producing planes is producing paper models. And this mentality, of course, is something we have been familiar with in this country. While the Turkish nation was fighting in Dardanelles, there were, of course, those who stood for the imperialists. And in our War of Independence, we owe now that there were some people applauding Greece for Greece and the forces behind it. And after our republic was established, that diseased mindset, every time they had the chance, did not hesitate to show the same, to display the same heresy. Now the person leading CHP is doing all these himself. Although he has been repeatedly convicted of his lies and slanders, he does not refrain from repeating those. And our nation has always overwhelmed the imperialists, and hopefully they will do the same today. My dear brothers and sisters, you can hurt the people of this nation by stealing the sword of the enemy. You can hurt them in the heart, but you will never be able to make them lose their determination. And this is why I leave it to our nation to judge the CHP leader. And it is, of course, enough for us to have an idea about him when he talks about the hay production of the country. He is not even able to understand what it means. And even though we know he is not able to understand, the issue about hay, of course, is to be explained to him in line with his capacity to understand, to comprehend, so he won't misunderstand. In 2019, Turkey produced about 20 million tons of straw hay, and about 85,000 tons of it has been exported, and we have earned about $14 million of revenue. And again, the price of the straw and the similar products made last year is around 420,000, and for
Gelelim buğday meselesine.
1.9 tons,
Yılda
and
20 milyon
it
ton
is
buğday
that
üretiyor
simple.
ve
Okay, this is
18,5
as simple
milyon ton
as
da tüketiyoruz.
even
Peki buna rağmen
Mr. Kemal
niye
can
buğday
understand.
ithal ediyoruz?
Let's come to the issue of
Çünkü
wheat.
Türkiye
We produce
dünyanın
20
en
tons of
önemli
wheat
gıda üretici ve
annually, and we
ihracatçılarından birisidir.
consume 18.5
Tarım
million
ürünleri ihracatımız
tons. So why do
2002
we
yılında
import wheat? Because
3,8
Turkey is one of the
milyar dolar
world's
iken
major food
2019
producers
yılında
and exporters.
18 milyar
Um,
dolara yükselmiştir. Yani yaklaşık 5 katına çıktı.
So our consumption
Söylenenin
has
aksine Türkiye
increased by
tarım ürünlerinde
five
ithalatçı bir
folds,
ülke değil.
and Turkey is
Net
not indeed an
ihracatçı bir ülke. 2019
importer
yılında
country for agriculture
dış
product.
ticaret
On the
fazlamız
contrary, it's an
5,3
exporting
milyar
country,
dolara ulaştı.
and
Bizim üretimimiz
our
gıda
foreign
sanayinin talebini karşılamaya
surplus
yetmediği için yurt dışından
has come
ithal
to
edilen
a figure
buğday,
of 5.3.
bisküvi,
Wheat,
un gibi katma
pasta,
değerli ürünlerin
biscuits,
üretiminde
flour,
ve
like added value
ihracatında
products
kullanılıyor.
are
Dünya
now being
un
produced, and we
ihracatında
use our
birinci,
surplus to
makarna ihracatında
produce
ise
and
ikinci
export
sıradayız. Bay
those
Kemal.
products. And
Patates ve soğan gibi ürünlerin ihracatına da
and the product and the
talepte
export of
herhangi bir
products such
sıkıntıya
as
yol açmamak
potato,
kontrollü bir
we
şekilde
potatoes and
veriliyor.
onions, we
Nitekim geçen yıl
have a controlled
226
method
bin soğan,
to
226 bin ton soğan,
export.
145 bin ton
And as a matter of fact, we
patates
exported
ihraç ettik.
226,000 tons of onions and 145,000 tons of potatoes last year.
Paylaşıyoruz.
And I share these pieces of information with our people just due to our respect for our nation, because we already see that the person who is in charge of CHP, who is leading CHP, is not wise enough to understand even the issue about the hay production. Dear friends, we know that the goal of the CHP administration is to hide its dirty alliances. But no matter how hard they try, they will not be able to achieve, because some realities are already known by everyone, and they cannot prevent what everyone knows. Of course, there are alliances in politics, and alliances are legitimate. But what is not legitimate is to do that secretly, and especially carry it out to help the terrorist organizations. The name of the alliance done with those who have blood in their hands is not a politics, but is betrayal. So such an alliance has no place in democracies wherever you go in the world. As you have followed, the co-chairperson of the party, which is under the leadership of the separatist terrorist organization, showed up and made a call onto CHP to publicize their alliance relations. What does that mean? That means they did it secretly before, now they want to make it public knowledge. And another co-chairperson of this party previously said that they have contributed and wanted their rights in all the municipalities that CHP won in Istanbul and in Ankara. And today it is known that there are people who have been appointed by the party under the leadership of the separatist terrorist organization. And even we know that some members of CHP have resigned from their parties. They will surely show up and deny this fact also, but it is very well known how this irregular relation was tried to be legitimized, and we know that the problems in the party is growing gradually. Well, if you have a hidden agenda made with the terrorist organizations, then the day will come and they will ask for the price of it. Sometimes this price becomes political betrayal, sometimes maybe self-denial, and sometimes economic gains. And if you if you use the municipalities that our nation has gave you the authority to mandate, is made to serve for certain interests, then these terrorists, of course, you will pay for it politically, legally, and when our heroic soldiers, police, gendarmerie and guards of our country are fighting terrorists at the top of mountains across the borders, there are some who make alliances with those terrorist organizations, and now it has come to an end. For them, the end of the road seems to be visible now. And it is not surprising that this mindset of CHP questions what we do in Syria and try to come up with sabotage for the activities of our country. And what's incumbent on us is to follow every corruption, every activity, every betrayal, every type of theft done in the CHP municipalities, and bring them to the presence, to the attention of our nation. And our provincial and district organizations and municipal councillors should concentrate on this matter with all the strength, all the power they have in their locations. And we, of course, will not forgive any mayor who has engaged in such behavior, and it doesn't matter from what party they are, including ours, and we will not be showing any tolerance. Thank you very much. We closely follow the municipalities of the parties that are under the guidance of the separatist terrorist organization, and when we determine, we will do what is necessary. We will never allow certain individuals to abuse our country. And our nation embraces AK Party so tightly because it frees the states, means it protects the state authorities and state means. Dear friends, to avert the major humanitarian crisis in Syria, especially in Idlib, we are trying every way, including active intervention in the field. While Turkey is currently hosting 3.7 million Syrians in its territories, it is now obvious that Turkey cannot quietly accept a new wave of immigration with more than 1 million people moving towards our country from Idlib. We demand the regime to end its attacks right away and to retreat to the borders of Sochi Memorandum, that is, behind our observation posts. Thus, we will be able to ensure that the masses moving towards our borders return their homes. Unfortunately, Russia does not want to recognize this sensitivity in this humanitarian issue somehow. But the time we gave to those who surrendered our observation posts is almost over. And first, these blockage on our observation posts should be ended until the end of this month. This is what we have been planning initially. The regime has been engaged in efforts not to protect its own territories, but to destroy its own people, to leave the region into the hands of sectarian fanatics, many of whom have been brought from outside, and it has now become an undeniable fact Those who want to protect their soil, freedom, and future in Syria are the groups that act together with our country, and such people truly oppose the Assad regime, and their true love is for their homeland and people. To ensure the security of our soldiers stationed at our observation posts and control points, and to protect the civilians against the persecution of the Assad regime, we have now further strengthened our military presence in Idlib, and currently the biggest problem for us is that we cannot use the airspace, but hopefully we will find a solution to that problem before long. We at the same time run the diplomatic channels to the full extent. To those who think they can dictate what they want by driving Turkey into a corner, we would like to remind a peculiarity of this region. This geography swept away and swallowed all those who thought so highly of themselves, like a vortex, before even they came to know what was happening. We are not the hosts of this geography. We are not the guests of this geography. We are the hosts. For this, we will not take the smallest step back in Idlib. We will definitely push the regime out of the borders we have determined, and we will ensure that people return to their homes. We are committed to that issue, and we envisage all kinds of sacrifice to that end. The poet says, "You cannot count our numbers. We are too many to break." And our nation is such a nation, and martyrdom is not an end for us. It is the greatest of all to our share. Our nation on the night of July the 15th showed that it possessed such a spirit and that it could walk to death when necessary without second thoughts. And the main issue is how much of a sacrifice those who adopt attitudes that are not fit for our friendship and alliance risk to make. In battles, tanks, cannons, planes, missiles, and bullets work only to some extent. The main thing is to have a heart. The main thing is belief. The main thing is faith. Faith is great, but a heart without faith is only a load on one. And praise be to God, we have all these in our nation. Additionally, when we include our defense industry, which has been developing more and more every passing day, I suggest everyone rethink about the picture that is yet to emerge. And we are fully committed to the principle of one nation, one flag, one homeland, and one state. And we are proud of you all. We know that every struggle we take on in Syria beyond our 911-kilometer border today will be taken on in our own soil come tomorrow with 10 times or even 100 times greater losses than we might have today. And our 35 years of struggle with terrorism is the biggest proof of that, and we have no eyes set on neither the territory, the oil, nor any valley of Syria. All we want is to ensure that Syrians, who are brothers and sisters to us historically and culturally, live peacefully in their own land without being subjected to the cruel regime and the puppet terrorist organizations, because our peace is possible only through that. And my request from my nation is that they consider the Syrian issue, the Libyan issue, and the East Mediterranean issue from that perspective. We are not looking for adventures outside our borders. On the contrary, we struggle to keep our borders safe and ensure that we can live peacefully in our cities and homes. Hopefully, we will bring this struggle to a victorious end at all fronts. And for that, it is incumbent on us to be one, to be great, to be alert, to be brothers and sisters, and to stand for Turkey altogether. When we achieve that, God willing, there is no power, no enemy, no obstacle that can stand in our way. With these feelings, I once again pray for God's mercy on the martyrs of Syria and Libya and convey my condolences to our nation. I cordially greet you once again. Stay in health and peace. Thank you.
Konuşmalarından dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Tüm misafirlerimizi tekrar saygıyla selamlıyor. Grup toplantımızı kapatıyorum.